apologise about the technical issue. PlayStation decided to overheat, and when it done that, that was it. It was set me out of the race, but I will start getting the stream back up to everybody. Right, so I do have to give me 1 moment and I'll get it. But stream is now back into the PS Live, PS chat. So here we go. Oh, what's going on here? I come in and there it is straight with us. A bit of bumping around. Alright, so times from top to bottom. Alright, let's get everything ready because I need to get details on. So we've got DXT Hobo on 125.6, Freedom on a 125.9, DXT Anthony on a 126.2, DXT Matty on a 126.2. Wow, that is 1,000 between them two. Fantastic between those two drivers. We've got Percy on a 126.4. We've got Matty Bot on a 126.7. King's Home on a 127.2. Veloce on a 127.2, Flea on a 127.4, Leo on a 127.5, Ari 127.6, El Stefano 127.6, and Antim 128.4. And King's Home puts a 125.8 in there, and DX, that is a fantastic time. I'm not too sure what it's saying that's the fastest lap because DXT Hobo put 125.6. Right. So Percy has put a Percy's time was on a medium tyre, but he is out on with a set of soft tyres right now. Right, bear with me. I am gonna jump into the YouTube chat. So go on, guys. Let's see if anybody can answer that question from earlier. What corner was the Schumacher? And DXT Hobo saying you missed my lap. I know. I'm really sorry, Hobo. I do believe that would have been a smashing lap. I can't believe it. I do think I'm going to send my PlayStation right out the window after this race because it's unfair. If I can't catch the fastest lap of the race, then that's a pity, isn't it? Really, it's really harsh. I do think there is a glitch on the system because I'm still seeing the fastest lap is King's Home with 125.8. I don't understand why. And that's it. I'll do it again tomorrow. Yeah. Unfortunately, I might not actually see that tomorrow. I am covering the TNA Tier 3, I believe, on my own again. Pause it and it should go. Let's have a look. No. I paused it. Let's just jump in. Incidents, let's throw through the incidents while we're here. So, terminal damage for non-human, actually spinning out and crashing out. Speed in the pit lane. Guys, speed in pit lane and exceeding track limits, corner cutting. These are just going to add up onto the penalties at the end. And it's still the same. I can't believe it. I think it's glitched. But we'll see at the end of this. Hopefully it'll sort itself out at the end. Okay, so I want to see, we'll see Hobo is back out again. Hopefully he'll be able to replicate his lap. This is the last time shootout for drivers such as Frenzy, Schiffer and Brooksy to start making, recording a lap. Right, that is... It looks like quite always. See, that there could have cost him. It was just over the line. Luckily, it was one of those lines that the stewards allow a bit of leeway. Alright, so let's have a look. Let's see who we need to be like. We need to see what Frenzy's doing. Frenzy into the pit. I don't think Frenzy is going to have enough time to get a fresh set of rubber on and get back out against Schiffer and Brooksy. But let's see what Brooksy's up to. Well, Brooksy is coming through 10.5, 10.6, now onto 10.7. It looks like he's pushing it hard. He is going around turn 8 now, nice and tidy, keeps that in sweetly. Let's see how he handles turn 9 and 10. So he does cut turn 9 quite well, and goes around. Like I said before, I do like a wider line in turn 9. It gives you the approach to turn 10 a little bit easier. But you can see a train of drivers right now, all one after the other. Let's see how well they do. I'm sure Percy is bound to, and it's a drivers doesn't seem to be getting out of the way. If they're on, I think they might have been on a fast lap, but Brooksy was a little bit quick there. And it might look like Brooksy might actually be harvesting energy, ready to go out again. Frenzy has retired from the session. Oh. So Brooksy with 130.8. Not too sure whether he was actually putting the full effort in there, or he pulled up, because he did actually then start warming his tyres up a little bit more at the end of that lap. Let's see what Schiffer's still on an out lap. He's invalidated it, but it doesn't really matter on an out lap. Let's see. So we've got Herbo, Kingsholm, Freedom, Anthony, Matty, Percy, Matty Bott, Veloce, Flea, Leo. I know Veloce is not out. Leo and Tim, Brooksy and Schiffer all out on track at the moment. And Matty puts in a new time of a DXT. Matty has put in a time of 1:25.4. A fantastic time, taking provisional pole. And it's not just taking it, it's actually taking it by over 0.15 of a second. Let's see, 1.57 almost. 0.7 of a second. Just working out, I do apologise. 0.17 of a second, sorry. And DXT Hobo has retired from the session. Let's have a look, see what Kingsholm. Kingsholm is our next driver near the top, who's actually due to come across the line. I do think there are the two Hasses that are due to come across, and that'll be Freedom and Matty Bott. Let's see how Freedom does not improve on his time. How does Matty Bott do? No improvement. Let's see how Kingsholm. Kingsholm gets second. 1:25.4, and as you notice, the thing on the bottom has gone. So Percy is now put a time of a 1:25.2. I obviously missed that, but you looking at these times are so close. Rashmi with a one-word comment of wow. I think it was Percy's lap there that actually made it go wow. This is a lot of drivers have decided to retire, and we've got anybody out on lap. We've got Schiffer. Schiffer is our last driver, I believe, and it's validated that lap. So a few drivers are not able to capitalise. DXT, how we go? DXT 234. Matthew Green. I could have gone much quicker there, but kept messing up my lap. At an 8. DXT Anthony, yeah. Well, see, the DXT family are basically covering 2, 3, 4, and 8. Obviously, you got extension to the DXT family, such as Kingsholm, who hasn't put DXT Kingsholm on his PSN. There. And Sage Brooks completely blocked my lap. Yes, I completely understand where you're coming from. Yeah, come through 10-12. His flying lap 10-12, and there was a Haas in the way. So when he entered 10-13, he had to slow down. Completely understand it. It costs too much on PlayStation though. Yeah. It was freedom, and at Percy said it was freedom. So yeah, the hassle of freedom did actually hamper the lap of Brooksy, but I can't. By the looks of it, I think the Haas itself was on a warm-up lap rather than a fast lap, or rather on a cool down, because the pace was nowhere near as quick as you expect a competing driver to be at. So we've got 5 seconds left now for the drivers to decide what tyre strategy they're going for, what fuel load they're going to pick. And here is the formation lap. Now, formation lap is just a protocol to give the drivers a chance, and Percy giving it a proper wiggle there. So we've with the drivers here, as you can see, this view here. Let's get rid of all the menus, so you can just see the whole cars in their glory. Absolutely fantastic. I think that camera was absolutely perfect for that view. Absolutely stunning. Just the way they all just casually just one after the other went past. And Leo has been disqualified, and Elstefano has been disqualified, so the two naughty boys will be sent back to the grid. See, the Bahrain itself, it is one of those corners, one of those circuits that, for formation and safety car, it just feels like it takes forever. But as you can see, these drivers are taking all the opportunities they can to warm up the tyre. See, this is the area that non-humans spun out on. It's one of those things. If you cut too tight and clip the curb on the inside too much, the grip on the outside just throws the car around. And also, if you're on the outside and you clip the curb on the outside, you throw the car into an oversteer, and it just sends you going into the other wall backwards. So now here we go, we've got all the drivers now lining up, and we've got Schiffer and Veloce also being disqualified from the warm-up session. It's never good to see when drivers are doing that, because you want to see them competing, taking all the chance they can to make it look a bit more civilized, really, as we are now in that moment where we are just all the cars are getting in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, they're out, and away we go. So here we go, we have got our drivers now who are Percy still in the lead. We've got Kingsholm in second, DXT Matty in third, Hobo in fourth, Brooksy in fifth. As we got the usual jostling around, so Hobo has moved up against Matty. So the DXT are still holding 2, 3, and 4, and 8. We do have Veloso and Matty Boss switching places, and Brooksy and Matty at the top, swapping places. Brooksy absolutely doing a fantastic effort to push through the top 4. So Percy is starting to open a gap already. Almost at, well, he's got to the 0.8 of a second, and I'm still waiting. I'm going to wait for the co-master's usual jigging around to do in a moment. Let's see what when that happens. Usually it does happen within the first 3 laps, and it sorts itself out by lap 5. But yeah, I'm going to throw up. Let's see what the tyre strategy is so far. So everybody's on softs apart from Veloce, Leo and Frenzy, who have chosen hard, and El Stefano and Tim, non-human, and Schiffer have chosen the medium. So a mixed bag of strategies, but the majority of people are choosing the softs. So you got Flea, who's actually chosen soft at the back. He is the only driver lower than 10 to choose softs. And for Veloce, has managed to be managed to do well on the hard tyre, pushing himself up. Was Flea in 10th? Let's have a look and see the position changes. So Flea was in the top 10, so that is why. And here we go, the usual gumph, as the Codemasters does its usual. I'm going to screw with your head sort of business. As we can see that Frenzy and Mathibot are in the pits already. Probably a wing change. This may have a long-lasting impact on those drivers, pending whether a safety car does come out or not. It looks like Mathibot has chosen to drop onto the soft tyres, and Frenzy is, onto the hard, and Frenzy's gone soft. I think it's because Frenzy did start on a hard tyre, so he'd jump on the soft and he'd probably switch back to the hard tyre later on. So we are nearing to the end of lap 2, and as you can see that the Percy there is locking up. Let's see where the battles are now, as things seem to be a bit more settled. So we have DXT Matty looking to make his way back up from past Brooksy. We do have DXT Anthony, who's made a move up to 7th, but is now closing in on Freedom. Now DRS has been enabled, which means that a lot of these drivers have got a bit of boost, and we've got Brooksy, who's jumped up to 3rd. He is battling it with DXT Hobo. Absolutely fantastic effort by Brooksy to push into their King's Home. Is in an open gap at the moment between the two Mercedes. He is. It is looking like that this if there's no safety cars to come out, this will be the order of the top 3 so far. But DXT Hobo is looking to make moves onto Brooksy with the DRS enabled. They will have the chance there to close down the gap. But you can see there are gaps. This is a DRS train right all the way down to Veloce. So from Hobo down to Veloce, that is a DRS train. And we've got a second one from Non-Human down to El Stefano. So there's a few there that are chasing after each other. And Leo is just in that bracket there that we were able to get a DRS tow. So we do have a change. DXT Anthony is pushed up. So we have the DXT team on 2nd, 4th, 5th and 6th. So let's have a look to see how things are going at the moment. Let's see if there's any more battles. We can see Aria, who's looking to make a move on Freedom. Now Aria in the Williams there is actually pushing himself hard to try and make that gap happen. And Flea has made a move past Non-Human. Flea has done fantastic to get there. He has now got 4.4 seconds to start making up, but Non-Human is trying to get back, but Flea does have DRS for himself. Has he got it in him to break the DRS gap and start chasing down the front pack? Frenzy with the new fastest time of a 1:29.6. Still quite a bit off from there. The fastest times I would expect them to be later when the fuel loads are lower. And Hobo is looking to make a move on Matty, because these two have been switching places back and forth a little bit. A Schiffer with a time penalty. Time penalty for multiple warnings. Multiple warnings, fellas. Multiple warnings. If you're never going to learn the track limits now, when are you going to learn them? Because they do have a big lasting effect on your results. I've seen people dropping from a win down to 8th because of track limits. And I think Antim has spun. Or that is Antim spinning at turn 12. So looking at the circuit itself, we can see that the whole circuit is quite Joe. There is quite a few gaps there, but most of the drivers are in that sector 1 at the moment. So they are looking, or they were in sector 1, and most of them are now pushing into sector 2. So they're all in the same sector pretty much, which means the battles will be lasting pretty much most of the race. I don't think I'll be able to get a breath in edgeways. As DXT Anthony is looking to make a move on Herbo, who is looking to make a move on Matty, who is looking to try and just keep up with Brooksy. DRS does help out with these drivers to close down the front packs, but Brooksy's not going to get any benefit of that at the moment until he starts closing that gap down to Kingsholm, which I don't think is really happening much, because Kingsholm was on 3 seconds earlier, is now pushed on to 4.2. Percy is slowly increasing that lead ahead of Kingsholm. So it could be a Mercedes 1-3 at the moment. And there's DXT Matty. What has happened? So, oh no. DXT Matty. DXT Matty spinning out at 10, 14, 15. Comes back on the track in a very dangerous place and clips Flea. Now Flea has got a 5-second penalty for a severe collision with Matty, when it actually was Matty's fault. Matty came in at the wrong time. He came into the second at the wrong time. He should not have done that. Is there any damage on Flea's vehicle? Let's have a look and see. I do love this shot. This is the top view shot. We got Flea getting chased down by non-human. Now I do want to see whether he's got front wing damage, and I think he might have got away with that. Yeah, he has. He's got away with it. I don't see any damage at the front wing. Obviously, there could be minor damage that we don't see. But I do hope that the stewards are watching this, because the game penalty is wrong on my account anyway. And Frenzy has retired. And that is that brought a safety car out? It's a virtual safety car. So Frenzy has DNF'd just before turn 8. With the Schiffer spun out. Let's see if he can get it. So he can get it back together. Oh, unlucky Schiffer there. So it is quite unlucky that it is I think that was a wall hit there. He must have clipped that wall on the left hand side. I don't know what happened. And Tim with a drive-through penalty for speed under the virtual safety car. Now that is unfair. Let's see, is Flea serving his 5-second penalty? I hope he does. I hope he hasn't. I hope he hasn't done that, because if he said, oh no, yes, he has served a 5-second penalty, and I think it was automated. Now that would be something that Flea may bring up to the stewards at the end. I certainly would. DXT Anthony is looking to make a move on Brooksy, so there has been a few pit stops. So we've got Percy, Brooksy, DXT Anthony, Fredo, Ari, Non-Human, Flea, and DXT Hobo and DXT Matty all have pitted. People who have not pitted so far is Kingsholm, Veloce, El Stefano, and Leo. Now Kingsholm could push and see if he can get a chance of a safety car to make it easier for him. It does mean that he can get a quick pit stop and not lose many places, which is exactly what he needs to be doing. He needs to work out when it is best for him to pit, because the overcut could be the one to work under these situations. And Anton with a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I will always be telling everybody the same thing over and over again. Track limits and pit lane speed. It happens all the time and people get caught out all the time because they're not prepared for it. So Kingshow is the winning leader. He is losing time. Significantly he's losing time. He's got to be thinking about pitting very soon. And he stays out for another lap. Veloz on the hard tyre could pretty much go to near enough the end of the race and then slip on some soft tyres to finish it off strong. And Non-Human has DNF'd. Again, the same place where he spun out in qualifying is what has been out, and safety car is out. Safety car is out. So this will be a chance for Kingsholm to jump in and get a better set of tyres on. He's got to be careful, he's Delta. But he's also got to think about getting into the pits quickly, so he's slowing down because his Delta's telling him to do so. And I think Veloz has got the same kind of thing, he's getting told to slow down as well. So safety car, safety car, safety car. Let's have a look. Let's get back onto the chat. Let's see if there's anything on there. So Non-Human is typing on it, letting us know. Let's see if he can let us know what happened. As the safety car is out. Everybody will slow down. Let's see. Kingshow is in the pit. Is Percy gotten able to? Yeah. Percy's managed to do him. The difference between these two tyres at the moment, the 2 laps between Kingsholm's and Percy's, will not make much of a difference on circuit, even though the slight advantage is towards Kingsholm. But it is just a slight advantage. Yeah, Non-Human had a shocker. Same place in quali and race. Now let's get back to the video coverage and let's have a look to see whether there's any more comments from our viewers. I was 51 miles per hour in the pit lane. Oh, 51. Still too fast. It's better to be too slow than it is too fast in the pit. Safety first, fellas. Safety first. So, a lot of things to talk about so far. So Non-Human spinning out the same place where he crashed out. Frenzy DNFing just before turn 8. Unsure what that reason was. We've got a Schiffer with a penalty in the pit lane, and you know what? I'm gonna jump on board with the race director. Incident. So Matty Bot has a collision with Flea. Warning. Matty Bot collision with Frenzy. Warning. Veloz collision with DXT Anthony. Warning. Ari collision with Veloz. Warning. El Stefano collision with Anton. Warning. Schiffer collision with Non-Human. Warning. Track limits. Schiffer track limits. Hobo track limits. Flea track limits. Schiffer track limits again. First penalty. Multiple warnings. 3 seconds. Veloz collision with Ari. Non-Human track limits. Schiffer track limits again. Flea collision with Matty. That there was the one we witnessed, and I don't think it is right. And his safety car is still out. I do believe it'll be coming back in this lap because Tim is flying right now. And Schiffer with another time penalty. Oh my goodness. Let's jump on boards. Let's go through. So it's terminal damage for Frenzy. Speed under the safety car for Tim. Exceeding track limits. Multiple warnings again for Schiffer. Speed in pit lane for Tim. That's when he went through drive-through. Track limits for non-human who terminal damage. I think it was like, it seems to be like that. He got that one as he was DNFing. Probably Matty with a speed in the pit lane. Tim severe collision with Schiffer. Schiffer severe collision with Tim. Under the safety cars, any type of collision is classed as severe. Exceeding track limits, corner cutting, exceeding speed in the pit lane, exceeding track limits, multiple warnings. I really don't get it. I really don't get it. Has the XT Matty left? Right, that could be right. Yeah, DXT Matty could have left with the extra name. It just means that he's got no connection. So yeah, that would be because he's left this lobby. Unsure if we can get him back in. Well, I'm sure you can try. You can get past them. Safety car coming in on this lap, is it? Was it one more lap? I think it's one more lap. Yeah. We have Schiffer still half a lap behind everyone. So he's got a whole lap to start catching up, and then everybody will be within the same time frame again. So for our viewers out there at the moment, I'll give up the question. So the corner that has been named after someone is Schumacher Corner, and it is actually turn 1. So turn 1 itself is what they call the key corner in every circuit. It is where the most action tends to happen, and that is the whole thing regarding with the Schumacher, with him being at the time when they say the track opened, he was just phenomenal at the time. 7 world championships, gets given the corner name. I think it was after his accident is the reason is when they gave the name to Schumacher, and I think they're gonna have to call it the Michael Schumacher Corner rather than just Schumacher Corner, with multiple Schumachers in the F1. In F1, we have Ralph Schumacher, Michael Schumacher, Mick Schumacher, and possibly David Schumacher in the next few years, pushing through. So safety car in on this lap, so we can see all the cars jostling. Let's get rid of all this. We don't need this for the warm up, for the restart. Now, there are drivers here that have got a keen way of making things happen, and there we go. Percy has pushed it just on the entrance to the corner. He has pushed it. I don't think he caught Kingsholm snoozing, but he was close to doing so. Kingsholm still within touching distance, and Brooksy is there with them. So Percy's not made any significant move, but Flea has made a gap on Veloz had a gap on Flea. Veloce is now past Freedom. There's going to be a battle there between them. And DXC Anthony has actually had to put a gap in between them and Freedom. So this is going to be a tight battle between these drivers here. Fleet is in the mix with Freedom. Ari is in there as well. So those three drivers will be competing for 6th place. And it looks like Fleet is on board to make a move as they come through turn 9 and turn 10. Obviously turn 9 is one of those corners that I think Fleet has decided to back out there, give Freedom the space needed to navigate around the toughest corner of the circuit. Now here's a few little things for yourself about the circuit itself. Turn 12 is very, very similar to a similar layout as the first half of turn 8 in Turkey. Hamilton worked out that corner worked so well for cars with the amount of G-force that the drivers are experiencing that he actually decided to put it in Turkey on a bit of a longer scale. And Fleet has passed Freedom, so Fleet is now in 6th. And Veloce and DXC Anthony are still battling side by side all the way up to turn 4. And it looks like Veloce has made that stick, but DXC Anthony is not going to be backing off anytime soon. And Kingsholm is staying within touching distance of Percy. Percy's unable to shake him, but Brooksy is starting to lose a bit of space, a bit of time to Kingsholm. Kingsholm now with DRS. I know the DRS has not been enabled this lap. Do apologise. So Percy's managed to open the gap to just above a second. Can Kingsholm bring that back down, ready to go into the next lap? Dixie Anthony, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. I don't think I can go any further. We're going here saying anything about track limits. DRS has been enabled, so this will be in effect for our drivers. So it'll be quite important for Kingsholm now to be using that to keep Percy in range. Drivers such as Veloce will be using it to defend for DXT Anthony, as well as get closer to Brooksy. Flea would have to be careful because right behind them is Freedom, who is now eligible for DRS. As the gaps are starting to open up, the Brooksy he's gone wide and he has gone down to 10th. El Stefano had to slam on to allow Brooksy back onto the circuit. That could actually result in a bit of a penalty for Brooksy, but El Stefano has overcooked the entry to turn 10 and has almost flat spotted the hard tyres. Pardon me. Just looking to see where the next battle is. I think Matty Bott is looking to make a move on Ari. Matty Bott in the Haas closing down on the Williams. They're both on medium tyres. And Matty Bott does have DRS. But Ari's puts his car in a very defensive position. Oh! Ari goes a little bit wide. Pushes into Matibot, who is trying to go around the outside, and a bit of a coming together, but Matibot has got past Ari. Matibot did come through that corner a bit quicker than Ari. Unfortunately, there was contact. Let's see what the next battles are. And we got this Codemasters glitch again, so I'm going to have to wait until the drivers have got past the start-finish line. I'm just going to jump on with Percy, who is in the lead so far. Percy coming around 10-13. Using all the track he can. Onto the curve as it enters 10-14, around 15. And line up nicely, ready to see. Let's see, so Kingzo is 0.7 of a second behind with Veloce 0.6 seconds behind him. So good movement by Veloce. Dixie Anthony 2 seconds behind Veloce. So top three is in the battle at the moment on their own. Flea in 5th with Freedom right behind Flea in 6th. We've got Matty Bott in 7th, Ari in 8th, El Stefano in 9th, DXT Hobo sitting in 10th, and DXT Hobo has passed El Stefano. Let's jump down there because that's where the battle's going to be at the moment. And DXT Matty has retired. He's gone into the pit and retired from the session. I think it's because he was out of the race and he has retired. El Stefano looking to make the moves back onto DXT Herbert. DXT Herbert has dropped down significantly from a top 4 starting position. Let's have a look. As we've got Brooksy with another warning there of time penalty for Brooksy now with 3 seconds for multiple warnings. As we are looking to see where the next battles are, it looks like it's going to be at the front. So Freedom is still trying to look at making the best of the opportunity with Flea. Kingsholm is right behind Percy. Percy is our new admin at LFR. He has joined the team of myself, Kingsholm, Flea, and DXT Matty as the admin for that. So we've got down, we're on lap 18 of 29. So we do have 11 and a half laps to go. This is getting to become a race for the top 3. The top 3 are still battling quite close. It's still anybody's race between them 3, but it does look like they're quite comfortable as the top 3. Because DXT Anthony is slowly, and I mean just slowly, closing that gap down. We've got Free that is still looking to make a move on Flea. And a little bit of shuffling between the drivers of Kingsholm and Veloce, whereas they drop back and close back in together. Now Veloce has gone over a second behind, and Kingsholm makes a move on Percy and makes it stick. The younger tyres have worked well for Kingsholm, and Percy is battling back as they go side by side up to 10-4. Around 10-4, Percy with the inside line, but Kingsholm runs through that corner a little bit quicker as they come into 10-5, 10-6, 10-7. And they're coming around 10. They come around at the exit 10-7 into 10-8. Let's see if there's any movement. No chances there for Percy to get back. And now they're coming up to 10-9, 10-9. They're going a little bit wide, lining themselves up for 10-10. Is there going to be a dive? Nope. Kingsholm putting that car exactly where it needs to. Puts himself in the middle, but this is a good opportunity for Percy. So I'm going to clear it so we can see it clearly. So we've got Kingsholm who is getting chased down by Percy. I can't see this is this battle going to be given up soon because Percy will have DRS on the back straight. So this is an opportunity now. Percy is going to be using the slipstream, just got to be careful because they could overheat that delicate Mercedes engine. As we come around the final onto the back straight, we do see that DRS has been enabled, and Percy, you can just see the acceleration happen as Percy is now trying to make a move. He goes on to the outside of Kingsholm. Kingsholm has to give up with Percy because Percy was running through there a bit quicker as they go into turn 3, and Veloce also battling in there, and the cars are these three cars are very, very tight. A little bit of nose to rear touching from Veloce to Kingsholm. Now Kingsholm cannot suffer down here. We have got a slow car that is going to be slowing down drivers, but that Renault will be getting out of the way. I do apologise, I'm not too sure. I think that might be Schiffer. And it's still a three-way battle. Let's see how this does, because this is another DRS zone. Let's see. Kingsholm with DRS, Veloce with DRS, closing down the gap. I don't think there is an opportunity to overtake Percy at this moment. They might have to wait until they get to the final home stretch. But this could be a battle right to the end. It looks like there is a bit of a gap happening between Percy and Kingsholm, but hopefully Kingsholm is able to hold it in as they go down the side straight. Has Percy managed to open up a gap that's big enough for him to stop the DRS from happening? No, DRS is on again. And Percy's in the pit. I do apologise, I just pressed the wrong button. Here we go. So we got everything back up, and Percy has pitted, dropping down to go into 8th on a set of soft tyres. Now, I'm not too sure how these tyres are feeling for Kingsholm and Veloce, with both drivers got a significant lead to some of the drivers behind them. Are they going to decide to keep out there? Because it doesn't look like there's going to be much catching up, because DXT Anthony is on older tyres. Freedom on the soft tyres could go pretty much to the end. These tyres will have to last another 9 laps, well 8.5 now. I do think they can do them. It's going to be tough, and the tyres are going to be screaming at them. But now Percy is sitting down in the middle of the pack. Those soft tyres will, no doubt, will be pushed as far as as hard as they can now, so they can try and make up that gap, because Percy is closing down very quickly onto DXT Hobo. DXT Hobo could be thinking of doing a stellar defending job against Percy to make sure that DXT Anthony is covered, because DXT Anthony does not look like he will be going into the pits anytime soon. And Flea has got into the pit. I think Flea will be going for a set of soft tyres. Yep, soft tyres for Flea. I think Flea comes out, he will be out in 8th, which puts him in good stead there. He just needs to keep pushing, because drivers such as DXT Hover will be someone he can catch quite easily with him being on the hard tyre. Matty Bot on 12-lap old medium tyres. They are starting to come to the end of their life, with freedom and midlife cycle of hard tyres, and DXT Anthony on near the end tyres of medium tyres with Veloce and Kingsholm with 11-lap old tyres. They are looking to be coming to the end of theirs, but I would love to know how the tyres feel, what percentage they're on, because as they go along, they could easily put themselves on with a puncher, or even having to send themselves into the pit to cover themselves to stop a puncher from happening. So come around 10-14, and both drivers are going. Oh no, they're not going in. They're not going in. I thought they were going in, but they decided to stay out. DXT Anthony has pitted. Kingsholm does have. Kingsholm can push it. He has been known to push tyres to the very limits, and the fastest lap for Percy with 129.0. Kingsholm and Veloce. I think Veloce is going to be balancing this. I was thinking he's going to do exactly what Kingsholm does. But Percy is now in 4th. The tyre change does kind of slow you down to about 20 seconds. So that does. So you need to have 20 seconds over the guy behind you to make a clean pit. Stop. And not a single driver out there has that 20-second gap, apart from Leo, who could pit 4 times and still come out ahead of Schiffer. And we do have a few penalties, not as many as what I first anticipated with how they started going, but I'm sure other drivers will start getting penalties soon. So Veloce is now making a move on Kingsholm. Veloce is now in the lead. Absolute wheel-to-wheel battling between these two drivers. Kingsholm, Veloce, 1, 2, 1, 2. They keep switching. Now Kingsholm is sitting behind Veloce on lap 24. So the same kind of battles that we had between the two drivers. And Veloce almost pushed a squeezing Kingsholm off the circuit, but Kingsholm made that move happen. Had a bit more acceleration and made it work as they come into turn 8. Very tidy around turn 8, both drivers. I am keeping one eye on Percy's time because he is bringing it down very, very quickly. He is 12 and a half seconds behind Veloce. So these two drivers again getting really, really close. It'll take one mistake, one little error, tiny error, for them to lose out on this. But I don't want any errors to happen right now because this is exactly what we want. We want wheel-to-wheel battling, especially at the front. We've been missing this in F1 over the last season, so we wanted to see it now. And Brooksy is looking to make an opportunity past Matty Bott. Brooksy, who did have a bit of a error happen early in the race, is on the recovery drive. As we go down, let's have a look to see where everything else is. Sorry, you're going to have to jump back up because Brooksy does look like he's about to make a move. But I want to get back to the top because it looks like they're still battling out on the top at the top. Brooksy is a lot faster than Matty Bott at the moment, and it makes the move happen, but Matty Bott is not giving up. Matty Bott will still battle through, and it looks like Matty Bott actually cut the corner a little bit there, and it actually caused a bigger problem to Matty Bott than any kind of benefits, because Matty Bott has lost now half a second of time then. And so let's go jump onto the top because Veloce is still looking to get past Kingsholm. With just 4 laps left to go, can Percy make it to a podium? He is closing down Freedom. Freedom is on those hard tyres that will last till the end of the race. Once Percy gets past Freedom, he has got a bit of work to do to catch up with the 2 front runners. It's quite an intense moment to get rid of all this. As Veloce gets past Kingsholm up to turn 4. It is all about working out when's the best time to overtake, when's the best time to wait. You would think that the advantage is to the driver at front, but then it kind of equals out with the DRS. So the lead will change back and forth quite a few times. And it looks like a little bit of oversteer from Veloce has kind of opened it up to Kingsholm to get back into it. But Kingsholm holding himself quite firmly behind Veloce, probably waiting to the better opportunity for the exit of turn 15 and onto the home straight. Quite interested to see how these work out at the end. The Kingsholm is almost a second, well, he was all build up to a second behind Veloce, and he brings it back down. I don't see the opportunity, the overtake opportunity happening here, but could see it in the next straight because Kingsholm is right behind Veloce. Kingsholm, it's like we've got 3 laps left to go, and this battle is still hotting up. And we've got Percy, who's now in third. Percy has got past Freedom, but Freedom is battling it with Percy. Let's jump down and see how that's going. So that battle through the S-bend, Percy has made that happen, and he just needs to open up that gap to Freedom to stop any kind of attack for Freedom. But he's only 5 seconds behind, 5.1 seconds behind Kingsholm at the moment. Kingsholm looks like he is starting to lose. Veloce looks like he could be getting away from Kingsholm to take the win here at Bahrain. But Kingsholm is using DRS to his advantage. Let's see, I'm going to throw the telemetry data on because we can see what the battery life is like. So Kingsholm with half a battery, both got similar battery lives, and Percy's battery is quite low. So Percy will need to start charging that up a bit more because he is only 4.5 seconds behind. And this is the opportunity now where what he needs. He's got all the space in front of him now to start closing in. He is 4 seconds behind Kingsholm. Kingsholm is still looking to make that move on as like DRS. I don't think he used DRS through that straight there. But he has been enabled DRS for the next straight. Let's see if he pops that on. So he strikes out DRS and he powers it on. See if there's any movement here, any change in position on the penultimate lap. As the laps go on, Percy's chances of taking a higher slot than third is slowly fading away. These drivers are doing so well on these screaming medium tyres. Percy has took off 0.6 of a second in that last sector. He is flying. He's got the ambition to start making this happen. If he takes off another second, he might be in with a shot to catch up with Kingsholm. Kingsholm is so close now to Veloce. Veloce with 42%, Kingsholm with 46%, and Percy with the 27%. So the advantage at the moment is to Kingsholm for the energy. A little bit of energy to help boost them up. He will be saving that for the last lap. An absolutely fantastic drive from Veloce today. As Kingsholm is taking the lead, he is taking the lead on the final lap. This is where the battle will need to happen. Veloce needs to make the overtake happen before turn 4. Kingsholm defends well. This is so vital now. Kingsholm is on basically the advantage now is at Kingsholm, but Veloce is not going to give up. He is using all his overtake he can. Tries to dive in, cuts the corner, but loses out. Coming around to the final DRS zone where they could actually be an overtake to happen. Kingsholm has to now use his ERS. Veloce unable to make the overtake happen there. Kingsholm has just got to keep it nice and tidy for the last few corners. These tyres are going to be dying. Using all his ERS as well as Veloz has used. He's got like 3% left. He's got nothing left in that tank. Kingsholm around the final corner. And over as the winner, followed very closely by Veloz. Percy with a fantastic effort to get back and freedom in 4th. DXT Anthony in 5th, with DXT Hobo coming around the final bends to take 6th. 6th for Hobo, and we've got Flea coming around for 7th. Obviously, he'd questioned the 5-second penalty he would have got there. Brooksy now in 8th. It wouldn't make a much difference if Flea got the 5 seconds taken off. It would still be in 7th, but it was a matter of really why that happened. El Stefano in 9th, Matty Bott in 10th, Ari now coming over in 11th, Leo in 12th, with Antim. So Schiffer with 1 lap down, coming over the line. Antim with our last driver of the race to come over the line. And that is the end of the TeaTime racing coverage, commentary coverage by LFR today. Myself, Ferret, being the driver, the commentator. Veloz, I've got to give it to him. Yes, I agree with you, Codemasters. This time, Veloz had an outstanding drive, but I cannot take it away from drivers such as Kingsholm, Percy. Absolutely stellar drives. Freedom did fantastically well at the end there. Matthew Green front left was at 85%, but would have lost too much time pitting for the first tyres. Exactly, no, I completely understand that. It was the same balance for same thing for Percy, Kingsholm, and Veloz. Percy choosing to pit, and I'm not too sure whether he would have lost, would have went down to 3rd at the end of that race, but that was quite close. Kingsholm, Veloz, and Percy. What I'm going to do, I'm going to see if I can get them on board. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can get these drivers on board. The rules, you have to check with the rules. You have to actually speak to you'd have to speak to Hobo really about that. Let's have a look and see if we can get Kingsholm on board. Bear with me. Right, let's get Kingsholm on board. Let's see if Kingsholm will join us. Okay, so if he doesn't join us within the next couple of seconds, we'll call it an end there. But just quickly go through. So resetting to track isn't allowed during the race or the qualifying. Understood. So it's saying no. Who did it, and is there proof? From DXT. Now, I'm guessing that no resetting to track whatsoever is allowed. I can completely agree with that. It does disrupt a lot of drivers when that happens. It can cause collisions. A lot of leagues do not allow resetting to track whatsoever. And it's been discussed with the admins, so we'll leave it to that. So that is the end of our race today. And I would like to say thank you to everybody who's participated in the race today. So congratulations to Kingsholm, Veloce and Percy for the top 3 player positions. Fantastic effort from all our drivers. Quite a clean race today. Not as many track limits being exploited this week. The speed in the pit lane is still a problem. Come on guys, safety first. Okay, so there is a discussion going between the one of the admins and the drivers so far in the stream. I will leave that to them, but I would like to say thank you very much. And what I'll do now is I'll go through and let's see what our next race is. Bear with me one moment as I am looking into for the calendar. So the race calendar. So today was at Bahrain. Next week we've got China. Now China itself. Okay, I'll leave it there because China's not one of my circuits. It's a circuit that I do. I'd rather not be a part of. Really, it's not something I do enjoy. But hopefully, well, if we can't get someone to take over the comms that week, we'll I'll be here with you. But thank you very much for joining me, and all I can say is good night, and we'll see you soon.